Alrighty, y'all, so I promised that I was going to get into this engine here at some point, and I'm diving into it this morning. I haven't really done much investigating on it. When I got it last year, it wouldn't run, although I took the head off and the valves and the piston were moving like they were supposed to. And it was, if I remember right, it was getting spark, but it was still just spitting raw fumes out of the exhaust. So my guess now is that the timing is off on it somehow, some way. And so I'm gonna dive into this one like I did the newer Briggs & Strattons that had the broken base plate on them. It's gonna be pretty similar taking this one off too. You've got your mounting bolts on the bottom here. It might be a little bit difficult for me to get it off the shaft here, since this is a kind of an engine that's been used a little bit more than those I worked on earlier. But yeah, I'm gonna do that and take it off and see about the timing, because the governor linkage here was gone on it when I got it, so that very well could have caused a problem with it. I've put another one on, or obviously it's not the exact one, but I've rigged one to work. And again, I tried almost everything, so we're going to dive into this and see what might be wrong. Again, you just have your mounting bolts on the bottom here. I think there's 4, 5, 6 on this one, and you just slide it off on the shaft. So I gotta clean the shaft off or lube it up one in order to get it off, but that's what I'll do next. Alrighty, y'all, so this is kind of what I expected. I can't quite get this base plate completely off the shaft, but I've got it off enough to where I can work with it, which is good. And I don't know if we can see it on the camera here, but I know I didn't mess up the timing trying to get it off. And I'll show you all the first off this right here, the oil slinger, which kind of probably contributes to the problem of the governor linkage being gone, because I don't think I messed this up trying to get it off. Just it looks like it's too mangled and damaged for me to have damaged it getting it off, and it looks like it's some parts missing off of it too. I got the motor cleaned out though, so that's good. Again, there's no engine damage. I think not having the governor linkage on didn't do it any good, so the oil slinger's in pieces. But a fun fact, this is the exact same oil slinger that's in the overhead valve engines. So I've got one on tap here, and I'm going to put it in, but I'll get back inside the engine if we can see this, that the timing is off. So top dead center for the cam, or where the cam is supposed to line up with top dead center on the crank, is where it is now, because I can take it off pretty freely. So I've got it on the way that it's supposed to be on. But then if we look at where the line is on the crank, it's over here. So it's a little bit off. I'm sure something happened to it while it was running to cause this. Like I said, I don't think I caused it trying to get the base plate off. So the next order of business is to just line these two teeth up here. And all I got to do here is take the cam off and turn the crankshaft, which I'll need to do with two hands. But when I get it right on, I will show you guys. before I put the oil slinger on and put it back together. So if we can look in here now, I do have the teeth. There's the groove here on the cam and a little arrow on the crank. They are now lined up together. Again, the symptom that kind of led me to think it was the timing was the fact that it was getting fuel, it was getting fire, but it wouldn't crank, and it was just blowing, it was just kicking raw exhaust out of the, or raw fuel out of the exhaust. And then again, that oil slinger right there probably didn't have any, or do any good to it also. So now I'm going to put the new oil slinger in. It goes, I have to kind of wiggle it in here. But let's see. This base plate's kind of turning with the crank, so it's a little bit, makes it a little bit difficult, but I gave myself enough room to work. Still, I think we'll get it in on this side here. I got it out. I know I can get it in. All right, got it in. And so now let me cut the camera so I got two hands. I'll show y'all how it mounts in here. And getting the base plate off completely would help the most, but I don't want to bust it trying to get it off of the shaft here. But anyways, I was able to get it out. I just wanted to show y'all how it mounts. Here, you just put the oil slinger, it just slides right into this hole right here on top of the cam, and then it mounts right here where the governor linkage is, or where the governor is, and just kind of wedges itself between the two. When you put the base plate back on, you just have to make sure that they stay lined up, because this can easily slide off if you're not careful. So next order of business is for me to put a little bit of gasket sealer around the gaskets here, just so it doesn't leak any more oil. As you can see, it's leaking some oil over here, so I'll put some on the valve cover, or the valve access gasket also. So that's the next order of business, and that's what I will do. So I got the engine back together. I didn't have any RTV or any sort of sealant at home, but I'm kind of more interested in testing this out, and making sure that it runs, and if it does, and if it doesn't have any leaks besides that valve adjustment area, or valve cover area, then I won't worry about taking the base plate back off of it. It's not too hard to do anyways, and if I get it running, I've got to go buy an air filter for it also. So just try and kill two birds with one stone with the store trip. But I did get one of these newer 22-inch decks out. People have been really looking for a 22-inch mower, so I figured if this thing runs good, I'll keep it on this deck, and I'll attach it to this deck to test it out first here, and just kind of spray carb cleaner in it and see if it'll run. So that's the next step, to just mount it to these 3 mounting holes. I've already got the safety cable here, and the pour open stuff is on it. Just have to put some oil in it and put a blade on it, and see what it'll do here. So that'll be next. So I have it mounted and everything, and just one little quick thing I forgot to mention before about the base plate. You don't want to really hit it very hard because the metal's very thin, so I just tapped it with the rubber mallet to get it back on like it was supposed to, and then use the 3 mounting bolts to get it onto the mower here. I'll turn this thing up. I already got the safety cable on it. Just a little fun fact about this thing. It looks like they had tried to get rid of this mower on clearance for $80.60, and there's a date stamp 7/28/16 for the deck. The deck itself, if we go over here, it's actually a 2015 deck. The deck itself is almost 2 years old, but as you saw, it's in excellent shape. So now what I've got to do to get it started is put a spark plug in it, and I'm going to put some oil in it, and then I'm just going to spray some starter fluid through the intake to see if it'll fire that way before I go and proceed and put a gas tank and stuff on it. But that's what's going to be next. Looks like I'm going to have to bend that out as well. But let me just do all that, and we will see if it'll start up for us. Alright, so we're going to try this thing out. Who knows if it'll even try and start or what, but let's just give it a shot with starter fluid real quick. Again, there's no gas tank or anything on it right now, so. Well, that's a very encouraging sign. Before, like I said, it would just spit raw fuel out of the exhaust. It would attempt to hit every once in a while, and it didn't feel like it had, it felt like, I mean, it had compression, but it felt like everything was just off, instead of in sync. So that's really good. I'm going to proceed with putting a gas tank and stuff on it, and probably put some sealant. I know I'm going to have to buy some sealant to put around here, but as long as I know it runs, I'll go ahead and get a carburetor, or not a carburetor, excuse me, an air filter thing, and the sealant while I'm out getting stuff. But that's a good sign, guys, and looks like I'm going to have another decent mower here pretty shortly. So I did get it all together, and I actually found a linkage that will work with this setup, which is nice. I think it's similar to what is supposed to be on a mower like this. It gets a little bound up here, but I think it moves the governor linkage enough to not really cause any issue with it. I'll have to get an air filter for it. If it runs, that is. Probably I'm going to smoke up the whole yard here when I crank this thing up, but got everything together on it, so I'll give this thing a shot. Like I said, it has some oil to burn off, but So I'm gonna have to do a little bit more adjusting to the linkages and stuff to get it to where it's running like it should. Shouldn't be too bad, but to have a running mower here is pretty good considering what I started out with. So I will do a little bit more work on this, and I think I'm gonna have a good one here though, y'all. And so I'll work on a little bit more. Like I said, I'll tell you what I did, and I'll clean it up and give y'all a final start for it. So here's the final looking start of this 22-inch Murray with kind of one of the later models of the flathead Briggs & Stratton from 2011. Cleaned up very nicely, as it should, since the deck is almost brand new. And new oil, new air filter, sharpened blade, and kind of fix this flap here so because the spring is gone on it, and also so the pin doesn't come out, and everything appears to be in good shape with it. So let me set this down and give you all a final start. Just a little lazy when it's cold with the return spring, but once it gets going, it runs very good. Put a new gasket sealer on that valve cover area there. Get about $80 for this mower, since it's still kind of in really good shape, and it's a 22-inch. People love their 22-inch push mowers. So there you have it for this one. Another one running. I hope y'all enjoyed me getting inside this engine and fixing the timing on it. I know some of y'all are kind of looking for me to do a little bit of that more, and this was a good chance for me to do it. So, but she runs good. Very nice little mower for somebody. And so whenever I get another one in, I will make a video of that as well. So in the meantime, thank y'all again for watching.